If you want to know what ToK examiners are looking for, then you should read the ToK Subject Report. And if you want to know what the common mistakes are so that you can avoid them, then you should read the ToK Subject Report. Today, on ToK Today, we pick out the most interesting and informative bits of the May 2023 ToK Subject Report. Welcome to ToK Today. Likes, subs and comments are much appreciated. The Theory of Knowledge ToK Subject Report is written by examiners after each exam session. It's a reflection on what examiners have seen in the work submitted for the exam session. The report includes details on common mistakes made and recommendations for avoiding those mistakes. As such, the ToK Subject Report is the most definitive document for understanding what the examiners actually want. Now, I strongly recommend close reading of the ToK Subject Report for all ToK teachers and most ToK students. The ToK Subject Reports can be found in the Programme Resource Centre of my IB, and if you're a student, your ToK teacher can give you the report. In this video, I'll summarise some of the pertinent and interesting points about the ToK Exhibition arising from the May 23 ToK Subject Report. A couple of days ago, I published a similar video about the ToK essay, which I think I'll link above, or I'll try to link above. You can watch earlier videos about previous ToK Subject Reports, which are now linked above or in the video description. So here are 10 top tips that we learned from the ToK Exhibition from the May 23 ToK Subject Report. The first thing is fairly obvious, but it merits repeating, and that is that the examiners appreciate students choosing objects that are interesting to them, wide-ranging and unique. That's interesting to the student, not the examiner. They appreciate 3 distinct commentaries, one for each object, and they appreciate equal treatment for each object. That means writing approximately 315 words per object. Now, the second tip is on the more thorny issue of choosing objects. The chief examiner tells us that it is best if the objects have some personal significance to the student. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to be the student's personal objects, and I've made a video about that previously, which I'll link up here or in the video description. The objects should be objects of interest and or personal significance, because this tends to lead to more successful explorations of knowledge issues. Now, IB recommend that the students choose the object before choosing the prompt. This is because they want the student to reflect on how ToK manifests itself in the world. And this requires students to find ToK arising from the objects. Now, whilst this is certainly an ideal, in my experience, many students find this very difficult. And this is one of the reasons that I recommend that students choose a prompt and then they write 3 distinct knowledge arguments and then they find objects. So I say prompt before objects, knowledge arguments before objects. This approach just makes it easier for the students to justify the inclusion of that particular object in the exhibition, which is what's required to access the higher mark band. And if you want to know more about that approach and reasons for it, then watch the detailed video about this link that I published last week, and I'll link above or in the video description. Thirdly, IB generally recommend that the exhibition is organised around one of the ToK themes. However, caution is noted to ensure that the theme does not narrow the discussion nor lead to repetition of the same idea. Now, there's no specific assessment criteria for the use of a theme, it's just a recommendation. It's a recommended teaching approach rather than a requirement. A particular caution is noted when the themes of knowledge and religion and knowledge and technology are used. So there we go. Tip number 4. We're told a number of times in the subject report that introductions and conclusion sections are neither required nor recommended in the commentary. They're just a waste of words. Fifthly, and interestingly, we're told that the most popular prompts are these ones, which I'm going to put up on the screen here. And we're told that the least popular prompts are these ones. Why is this very interesting information? Well, I'll leave that up to you, but it's certainly very interesting to me and the students that I work with. Fifthly, the examiners have clearly identified 4 broad areas of assessment which can be broken down into A, the identification of 3 objects in their real-world context, B, the explanation of links between the objects and the prompt, C, the justification of the contribution of each object to the exhibition, and D, supporting evidence and references. And the subject report really explains what each of those assessment areas requires. So check out the subject report for more information. Sixthly, teacher comments continue to be incredibly important in the moderation process. Teachers should use the keywords in the marking criteria, but not cut and paste the marking criteria. Seventhly, my personal favourite recommendation here, the focus in the exhibition commentary should be on knowledge, not on the objects. The student should, and I quote from the subject report, interrogate the ToK space, not just describe it. And this is the biggest problem I see in the ToK exhibition commentary that leads to low marks, is descriptions of objects and not enough knowledge analysis or analysis of knowledge. Moving on to the 8th tip, and that is that the showcasing of the students' exhibition should happen after submission of the commentary. The showcase is not an opportunity for students to get feedback on their work before submission. 9th and 10th tips, I've put these together because it's quite a long bit. They're all about structure, so let's run through these quickly. Each object should receive equal treatment, which is about 315 words. Introductions and conclusions should be avoided. Prompts usually contain key ToK core concepts, and students should reflect on the significance of these concepts in the knowledge issues arising from the objects. Next, prompts are often misinterpreted or shortened in response. For example, prompt 12 is bias inevitable in the production of knowledge, often results in students focusing on bias and they don't deal so well with its inevitability or not. A long list of similar common mistakes is given on page 13 of the subject report. It's well worth checking out. Nextly, the links between the object and the prompt need to be explicit and direct. They should be knowledge links, i.e. they should explain how the object demonstrates the knowledge issues raised in the prompt. Next, justification of the inclusion of the object should be seen as a development from the link. The justification is a further elaboration of the connective link. The subject report says that the justification is showing what it is about that specific object that is so interesting in making us think about the prompt. i.e. it's a knowledge argument, a specific knowledge argument, which is why I get the students to write them at the beginning of the process, as it's core to getting the high marks. Anyway, next thing, they talk about evidence, and they say that students should not make unsubstantiated claims. They should provide evidence for claims, either from external sources or from their own experience, for example, from their own studies. And we're going to leave it there because that's more than enough links. If you want a written version of this video, you can pick it up from the ToKtoday.com website. So there we have it, 10 things that I learned, or things that stood out for me, in the May 2023 ToK Subject Report. The report has many other points of interest in it, and far more detailed explanations than I can include here. So I'd strongly recommend getting the ToK Subject Report from the IB website, or if you're a student, get it from your ToK teacher. And if you want more help with teaching or learning ToK, then head over to the ToKtoday.com website to check out the resources available, and always feel free to contact me at daniel@toktoday.com. Thank you very much for watching. Stay ToKtastic, my friends.